And we are live on the Dirty, the Driven podcast. My name is James Devaney. I am your host on this fine show. This is the show where we bring people to the blue-collar world and teach them how to kick ass. Our mission here is to gain, train, and retain GTR people to the blue-collar construction trades. As always, I'm joined by the violent, the talented, the luxurious, sweat-stained hat, hard-working, pipelining, blue-collar man. Maintaining, co-hosting, Casey.
How are you?
D.
How are you?
Show me the money, man. Man, what have you been up to today? Have you been working nights lately?
Yes.
Yes. How many nights?
I'll have 4 in a row, so I got a couple more left.
What is tonight?
Tonight is 3 or 4.
3 or 4?
Yeah.
Dang, man. Is that your least favorite part of your shift, is the nights?
Yes and no. I mean, fortunately, with the job that I have, it's a very important job. It's an entry-level job, but if we make a mistake, literally our entry-level job can cost the company multi-millions of dollars over my shift. And I'm big millions over our shift if we miss something. Fast.
Yeah.
So where I'm at, it's pipeline movement. So we're moving product. We're moving jet fuel, finished gasoline, low sulfur diesel. But where the biggest mistake can happen, aside from a release and an explosion, is if we get into jet fuel and we're pumping jet fuel down the pipeline, and if we accidentally leave our gasoline isolation valve open and we don't go out and check the product, I think it's a 1 to 10 or it's a 1 to 100. It's something big deal to where 1 gallon or 1 barrel of gasoline will affect 10 barrels of jet fuel. So if you accidentally leave this valve open and gasoline is going into the stream while jet fuel is going by, it's a super duper.
Oh, because it'll dilute the jet fuel and
it'll downgrade it. It'll pretty much have to be reprocessed and reran through the whole refining process again. And it's the big LPO, lost profit opportunity. And with today's technology, that's something you can't hide in everything. And another deal too is that could happen my whole shift and it not be caught till the next shift if the guy went out there and checked it. And hopefully he catches it, but then the destination where it's going better know that it's coming, because if they're not prepared for hot jet fuel, and if they accidentally turn it into a tank and then somehow that tank ends up going into a commercial airline with bad stuff, you know what I mean? There's checks and balances for everything, but it's a big oopsie daisy.
Dude, so fun fact, that actually just happened where I work at our asphalt plant.
Right.
Not with jet fuel. We're not running equipment with jet fuel in it, as badass as that would be. We ordered a load of a tack coat, which is the glue that you put between each layer of asphalt. Well, we ordered this stuff and they shipped it, and we don't really know what happened. I mean, and we do business with this company a lot. I mean, we know that it was a fluke, not a black eye on their part. You know what I mean? But they come and they put it in our tack tank where we store it, and then we fill up our tack truck to take it out to the road to spray it down. Well, dude, the stuff we get, and nobody saw it until we were spraying it down on the road. It was just sludge, and nobody really knows what happened. Or if they do, they haven't necessarily told us, but I think it just remains a mystery to everybody. Maybe there was a little bit of scum on top of that tank that we got put into the truck that we got, or maybe that truck had some stuff in it that hauled it that was bad, but something got mixed in with that tack coat, and instead of it being, thick, sticky liquid, it was like a real thick, sludgy, nasty stuff. And It was pretty crazy, and it obviously caused probably $35,000 to $40,000 mistake.
Yeah, you got to make sure you clean out your compartments. That cross contamination, that's the same issue that I deal with weed spraying. Which I don't do it.
And that's just regular weeds, not marijuana.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Well, I can spray marijuana. I mean, do you know what the definition of a weed is? Have I asked you this?
Pretty much just anything you don't want.
Yeah, a weed is an unwanted plant. So, fescue, it's a nice grass, right? Mm-hmm. Well, if I don't want that fescue in my yard, it's a weed to me. It might be pretty grass to you, but to me, it's a weed. Right. I want it out. So, but to go along with your story there, let's say I go and do a sterilization to where I spray a big industrial parking lot. I want everything dead, not only everything that's actively growing, but also pre-emergent. If I have that in my tank and I don't triple rinse and clean my tank out good, then I want to go back with a good turf ornamental spray to spray a pretty lawn. Yeah. And I still have the remnants of that. I'll smoke all the grass and kill it. And the same deal also is out there at our truck loading terminal where, you know, I told you about how all the gas comes from one refinery. They just put their little sprinkle in it.
Yeah.
A lot of those trucks have 3 bay compartments on their semis where they'll do like a low sulfur diesel, a subgrade, and a premium, and then they'll take it to a gas station, right? And they'll offload it.
Yeah.
Well, there's times where guys will go in there and each one of their compartments, I can't remember what it is, it holds like 3,000 gallons. Like the DOT regulates up to like 9,500 gallons or something per truck. That's the max you can do.
Yeah.
Well, let's say they go in there they say compartment 2, they want to load up low sulfur diesel. Well, maybe that diesel compartment hadn't been cleaned out and used to be a subgrade gasoline, and they didn't get all the gasoline out of it. So it's still got, it's still got 200 gallons of gasoline in the bottom of it.
Oh, yeah.
And they go on the top of that with low sulfur diesel. They don't think about it. Hopefully they don't top out. They take it to a gas station. They offload it down in the, not into the ground, but into the tanks there. People load it into their diesel trucks. Next thing you know, customer calls, what the hell, man? Mm-hmm. 2 call, 3 call. Then they'll trace it back to that truck. Then they'll trace it back to where they loaded it. Mm-hmm. And then they'll do the big investigation. So then they'll find that truck. Then they'll sample that truck. And they'll find out that they had some hot diesel, probably had a retain in there that they didn't clean out initially. And so, yeah, it's kind of an all aspects deal. But to go back to answer your original question, I actually look forward to nights and weekends where I'm at. And reason being is when I'm not working out there, I do all my maintenance and all my running and gunning, just like today.
Yeah.
I got off this morning, went home, slept for an hour. Then I worked for about 4 hours, went home, showered, ate, slept for 2 hours, and here I am. So I'm kind of going on, but I go out there to 100% do my job. It's my priority, right?
Yeah.
But physicality wise, settle down a little bit.
Yeah.
So I actually go out there to look for a break.
Oh, so it's a lot more chill. You're not running, gunning.
It's more chill. It's a different kind of work, I guess.
Because it being at night, weekend, you're probably the only one there. There's not other people bugging.
That's exactly where I'm at.
It's quiet. It's chill. You're just hanging.
Yes. Now I work with the refinery folk, especially all the oil movements people. They're the ones that are responsible for moving all of the product throughout the refinery. Mm-hmm. There's guys there. There's people. There's 4 or 5 or 6 people constantly all over them. But nights and weekends, it's just me.
Yeah. So it's a lot more laid back.
Laid back.
You're more so damage control.
Well, they compare the job that I do to air traffic controlling for pipelines is what it is. Mm-hmm. We have 7 different pipelines that leave this refinery and go out to the world, not to the world, but to the U.S. So
nice. Huh. That's all interesting stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I look forward to. I know that I'm not going to go out there and be exhausting myself physically out there. So I know that I get to actually kind of wind down and kind of gather my thoughts.
Yeah, no, that's good, man. Especially it's nice whenever you've got that kind of quiet time. You're like, I'm at work. I'm not blowing stuff off, but
especially not blowing stuff up, not out there.
Yeah, blowing stuff up. So what is the difference between jet fuel and gasoline? Is it just higher octane, or do you know?
That, but it's higher gravities too. Here's kind of a cool distillation process of, and dude, all you refining chemical engineers,
They ain't listening to this podcast.
but this is interesting. This is interesting. Ideally, when you take crude oil in, now this is super duper layman, dumbass me terms, right?
Laying it up for me, dude. Because whenever my wife talks about like refining and stuff, it's just pew. I don't know a word.
It's pretty kick ass. Ideally, for every single drop of product that you get out of the ground, the raw crude oil, I'm talking about just the nasty stuff that comes out of the ground, that's raw crude oil that you can refine. Ideally, you get 100% of that and you take it to market and sell it. You capture everything, right?
Right.
So when it's raw, thick, and going through there, you have a distillation process where
raw, thick, and nasty.
Imagine a tower so high with a bunch of pipes coming off every so often, right? Well, what happens is you take that raw crude, and when you put it under pressure and you turn up the heat on it and you heat that, it goes from raw, thick, heavy stuff that's moving. Your low ends is going to be like your asphalts or your coke,
right?
Like that pet coke that we talked about for blasting furnaces and stuff. That'll be the bottom ends of it. But the more you heat that stuff up, the heavier stuff falls out and the lighter stuff goes towards the top. So your heavies are your asphalt type of stuff, your coke and all that. But then, so what you're doing is everything, they compare everything to water. Water is the, not the standard, what's it called when you compare everything to water? Like it's the 1.0 it's the standard. You compare everything to this 1.0.
It's the dependent variable, I guess. It's kind of
But we have gravities. So water is considered 1.0. It's the standard right here, right? So everything below, let's see, I don't want to get this wrong.
Water boils at 210 degrees.
Yeah. Anyway, everything heavier than water's down here, but everything lighter than water's up here. So once you start getting lighter and lighter, once you get just above this water, then you start getting your diesels, because you're going from heavy to light. Then you're getting your diesels that go off over here. Then you get your jet fuels that go off over here, because jet fuel's lighter than diesel. It's physically lighter. Then lighter than jet fuel is gasoline.
Oh.
Then lighter than gasoline, it turned like this time of year, butane is actually under this atmospheric pressure and this temperature. Butane is actually a liquid, and we use a ton of butane blending in gasoline this time of year because we save a bunch of money on blending gasoline, because you don't have to keep butane under pressure during the winter here in Oklahoma. So the refiners make a bunch of money. So anyway, now you're getting lighter. So now you've got gasoline that's up here, and then you've got butane. Now you're getting into LPGs, liquefied petroleum gases. So then you got your butanes, your isobutanes, your propanes, your polypropylenes. So now you're getting into stuff under these conditions that are gases if they were, released to the atmosphere. So what you did was you took the raw crude, you put it in this column under pressure, you heated it up, and you drew everything off, and you captured it. Then you blended it with certain different types of chemistry to make the finished product.
Oh, dude, that's what I love about. So have you ever made whiskey?
No. I've made love a few times, but not whiskey. We can talk about that if you want.
Yeah. Dude, all I gathered from that was, no, I actually followed that really well. What I gathered was raw, thick, black, crude, and nasty, in reference to crude oil.
Yeah.
Should that be the name of this episode? I don't know. No, dude. So whenever you distill whiskey, not that I would know, you got your different stuff. So like you have your heads that come out, they boil first. So you have if you have just a really cheap redneck whiskey still, again, not that I would know, but it boils first. You put your mash in there that's fermented. Well, then you have this stuff come out first. That's your heads. It's usually, call it like 50 milliliters per gallon or so. It comes out, and that's the stuff that'll, like, people say that'll make you go blind, or, that's what we use for furniture varnish and stuff like that. That's the nasty stuff.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that actually, like absinthe. And this one I actually don't know very well. What I've heard is absinthe, they put like a drop of that in like a whole bottle, and that's like why you'll see weird stuff.
Yeah.
But you'll keep some of that. But typically, if you're making it, you throw that part out because that's gross. And then whenever it hits a certain temperature range, then that's your actual like alcohol. And then once you start getting to the higher temperatures, that's whenever you start getting like more nasty stuff at the end. And then you start just getting straight water coming out of there. And so it's whenever I just recently learned how a refinery works, like maybe a month ago. And I was like, just one big ass whiskey still.
So where'd you learn about the refinery from?
I went there as part of my Punk City leadership class.
I thought, dude, the few times that we've talked about it, I kind of gave you the whatnot of.
You've given me some whatnot, but dude, it's just it's. Whenever people talk about refining and you're not in refining, it is so hard to follow what refining is.
Yeah,
there's so much going on. Like you see a refinery, and you see all the towers and steam and clouds, and you're like, what the hell is going on?
But I thought I broke it down in layman's terms good enough, though, didn't I? I meant just
now, yeah,
just that little.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm tying it back to like whiskey distilling.
Yeah,
you know, like if you see it, like it's a very similar process. In fact, you can actually make corn fuel if you're ever in a pinch. I actually have this old book. I found it in a barn, old book, and I don't know when it was written. I would reckon to guess it's probably from the 50s or 60s. It's literally a book called How to Make Fuel Alcohol. How to Make Fuel Alcohol. And it's a little hardback book with gold lettering. And I mean, dude, it is an in-depth book on like, if something happened and you wanted to like go and you had corn and you wanted to make it, like you could make fuel out of corn essentially. And is this book? I've never like read it, but I've thumbed through it.
Also, you do know too that if you're in a bind and your vehicle's overheating, your truck's overheating, and you need to cool it down, you can pop the hood and pop off the radiator cap and piss in it
while it's still hot, right?
Yeah, that's what they did on Red Dawn, the original one.
Yeah, they've done that in a few movies. They did that in what was that movie? What's the one with where Seth Green's the Amish guy? Is that God damn?
Seth Green. I was thinking of Seth. Not
McFarland.
Seth Rollins, but the other one.
McFarland. No, it's the one where Seth Green's the Amish guy, and they're like going. He's trying to meet up with this chick that he met online, and God, why is it not coming to me? I just watched it like a couple months ago. It's probably one of the last movies I've watched. Actually, it's slipping my mind, but people are probably yelling at it right now, like, dude, it's this. But I don't know.
Yeah, unless you piss like my buddy Debo, and had that much water in your system or piss in your system, I don't think that's really going to help.
Well, you got to watch the Max Phil line.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but hey, man, switching gears a little bit, just want to say shout out to our boy Colton at the Certified Wrench Podcast. Just hopped on his show yesterday, as of the day we're recording. It should be out now whenever this episode drops. So check that out if you want to hear more of my voluptuous voice. Voluptuous? Is that the right word? I don't know.
Voluptuous?
I don't know. If you want to hear more of my beautiful voice, Colton and I got behind the microphone and talked some shit for a little while in his garage, his cold-ass garage, and had a good time. So glad we could finally make that happen.
How was the old wrench doing?
Doing good. I saw his baby, Casey James.
Yeah.
Casey James McCormack. So it was good, man.
We call him CJ for short.
CJ.
And how was the anniversary staying at the in-laws house? God damn.
I don't think we talked about that on air.
Huh?
I don't think we talked about that on air.
You don't think we did?
No, we didn't talk about that on air, dude.
Did it get cut out?
I don't think we talked about it on air. I didn't cut anything out. I just don't think I don't know. It was good though.
We didn't.
spent the weekend in Dallas and saw him. Went and ate an overpriced steakhouse.
Well, if we didn't talk about it on air, let's recap. James was talking about his plans. He was going to go down to Dallas, record with Colton, and also it was going to be a 2-for-1 deal to where he was going to celebrate his anniversary meeting with his wife, and also stay at the in-laws. I was like, dude. So this is an anniversary celebration, and you're not going to get a hotel room for you and your wife. You're going to stay at the in-laws. Well, yeah, dude, we're going to save some money.
No comment at this time.
Yeah.
No, we did see somebody get arrested though, so that was a cool fun way to end the night.
They're in Dallas.
Yeah, there was a car that was swerving a little too much, and the cops decided that was not cool.
Did you narc on him?
I did not.
But the other one?
My wife may have.
Good.
Yeah. No, it's good, man. I don't have much tolerance for that. Like,
no, man. Yeah, dude. I mean, worst case scenario or not, dude. That's
it's one of those deals. I've seen people drive drunk before that. It's like, you know what? They're going a couple blocks. Now, does that make it okay? No, but it's like I've followed my buddies home before. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Dude, I don't. It's like, man, let me just give you a ride. No, I'm going. Okay, well, I'm going to follow you home, and I'm going to let you know if you're driving bad. Let's make sure you get there safe. All right, let's do it. And it's like, it's cool, fine. All right, you make it home. You weren't driving like an idiot. You didn't look drunk while you're driving. Like, I still don't have much tolerance for it. You won't ever catch me drinking and driving like that. Has it probably been times I shouldn't have drove? Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm holier than thou, but. Yeah, I don't know anymore. It's just if I can afford to go out and I can afford to drink, and I even was there was a cop that kind of asked us for a witness statement, but I was like, dude, I just don't get how you can drive a $50,000 Mercedes, you can go somewhere and eat for probably spent $250 on your meal if you went anywhere nice in that town because big cities food is way too expensive, and you can't afford $20 to $40 in an Uber.
Yeah.
That's where I don't have a lot of respect for it. I mean, now obviously in a small town like ours, you don't have Uber, but we still have options. Are they great options? No, but they're options. But but especially in a big city where there's so much traffic. I mean, these people were swerving. They almost head on collisioned a few people. They came within inches of hitting a guardrail. Yeah. So my wife was like, we should probably call them in. And so yeah, they got lit up and we watched them get arrested. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah, man. When I was younger, dude, I'm fortunate I didn't hurt myself, hurt someone. Not proud of it, but for any of the listeners out there that might like to tie one on or throw a few back like I do, mm-hmm. or whatever, if you're kind of that person that maybe takes a risk, man, don't do it. There are so many options out there. Yeah. I know this isn't a PS? What's a
PSA
on drunk driving? But man, my wife and I, we're gonna go to Wichita for Valentine's Day. We're staying at the casino up there, but
not with your in-laws.
No, okay. No. We. I could have said something, but but we're gonna go up there, have a few drinks, might go out, and if so, dude, the Ubers or the Lyfts. It's insane how convenient it is to literally, if you have that app and you pull it, I want to go to X, you look, and if you want to go right now, they're 3 minutes out, 5 minutes out. And if you have your account built, you can go ahead and pay. You can decide what type of ride you want to take. Same there and back for $15, you can go 5 or 6 miles, tip the person $5 or $10, same on the way back. And you didn't even have to worry about anything.
Right. It was like one day I took in town, we have the poor boy taxi is what it's called. And I took that, and my neighbors were giving me shit about it. And, but it was funny. That poor boy taxi dropped me off at home, and it was the same driver who took us. It was me and a couple friends and my wife, and they took us to the bar, and we were drinking for a little while. And then the same driver picked us up and brought us home. And they were like, well, you guys saved yourselves $9,990 tonight. By using the poor boy taxi because it's $5 each way, yeah. And it was like, yeah, that's about right. So it's I don't know, man. I don't have respect whenever if you put yourself in danger. I get that. I put myself in danger all the time. I do things that I should not do that is probably unsafe or dangerous fairly often. But whenever it comes to putting other people in danger, that's not cool. And they were. So it was good that they got.
Yeah,
they got blown up like that. Anyways, this is interesting topics we've gone on so far.
It's fine.
It's fun. No, it's good. I'm saying it's different than usual.
Just heard news that DeSantis went ahead and stepped out of the race.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep. It's hot off the press. So when y'all hear this, it'll be 2 days removed.
Cold on the press.
Yeah. So now Vivek and DeSantis have stepped away. Did you do I need to do something with this mic?
No, you're good.
Sure.
Oh, that's beautiful.
How's that?
How's that?
Damn, Tech or Boom Boy or what do they call the key grip that does the?
Did somebody say boom?
I'll be the key grip, and you're like the fluffer guy, ain't you?
I'm not fluffing nobody. What are you key gripping? What are you key gripping?
Kung Fu grip. Did you hear about Trump doing 5D chess with Nikki Haley the other day? Or do you not follow politics? I don't follow politics. We're not supposed to talk about politics.
I haven't really been following him this year.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you about it.
Okay.
Trump during one of his, and here's something on this deal also. This is whether, disclaimer on us again, we spit obviously non-factual facts all the time. We spoke hundreds of hours on air.
What's a non-factual fact?
Non-factual fact. So we
say this. We say it as if it's fact, and then
we misspeak a lot. Good intentions, but we misspeak a lot. So you go through hundreds of hours to listen to us. There's a ton of faults there, right?
As with anybody.
The same as with Trump. Imagine how Trump goes to all of these rallies, and whether I got a hard on for Trump or not, dude, he goes to all of these rallies. Does
dang, your side of the table is kind of rising.
Yeah. Listen. 2 or 3 a week, speaking off the cuff for 2.5, 3 hours, flying all over, then has to fly, 16 hours back and go into these stupid witch hunt trials that he's going to, go. So he's going to misspeak, right? He's going to say some stuff that maybe he flubbed something and the media's going to hop on it, right? So he was speaking the other day, and during one of his speeches, he mentioned something about, kind of like how January 6th, the big, the thing that was worse than Pearl Harbor, our own Pearl Harbor, January 6th, the super bad thing that happened.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he was talking about that. He had asked for the National Guard to be there. He had requested, it was like 30,000 troops or something. Mm-hmm. He had requested that, but it was ultimately Nancy Pelosi's responsibility, and she turned it down. So none of them, so it was all kind of a quotations,
Conspiracy.
Yeah. Let's say, okay? Well, during this speech, he goes, yeah, kind of like, January 6th, I asked for Nikki Haley to, for 30,000 troops, and Nikki Haley turned it down. Oh my God, he misspoke. He meant Nancy Pelosi, right? He said that. So what happened? The New York Post, the CNNs, and everybody ran with this deal. See, Nancy Pelosi has never addressed turning down the troops, right? Mm-hmm. They go, Trump misspoke. He said Nikki Haley turned down the 30,000 troops when it was Nancy Pelosi who turned down the 30,000 troops. He is such an idiot, They ragged on him. He did the 4D or 5D chess. He intentionally misspoke, so the news organizations would report that Nancy Pelosi for sure was in fact the one that refused the troops being there.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Dude, I've heard a lot of TikTok people do that. They're like, oh yeah, like I'll intentionally leave a mistake so that way people comment on it.
Ingenious, huh?
Yeah.
So to go off of that, last night, which was Saturday night, for this recording, they fought, the UFC fought up in Canada. It was Sean Strickland versus Dricus du Plessis. And do you know any of these guys?
No, I don't really follow UFC.
They fight at 185 pounds. Well, Sean Strickland's kind of this wild, outspoken dude, kind of an everyman that we all can relate to.
I follow.
He goes up there and he's the champion. He just he beat Israel Adesanya, which was the champ. Anyway, this Dricus du Plessis guy comes in. He's a South African fighter, okay?
Okay.
And just to give you a little context, what race do you think Dricus du Plessis is?
Sounds maybe Russian.
Well, what color of guy do you think he is? Well, from South Africa.
White?
Yeah.
South Africa. Yeah.
He's the potential, going to be the potential African champion, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For South Africa. So anyway, they're fighting up there. And Sean Strickland, during the pre-press conference, everybody knows that Sean just speaks off the cuff. He doesn't mind. Well, one of these people tried to bait and switch old Sean Strickland. They said, hey, Sean, what do you think about your this and that. They tried to get him in a rope-a-dope comments about like LGBTQ and stuff like that. And Sean, you ought to look this up on the internet. Sean calls out this reporter up in Canada, and he goes, it's people like you. 10 years ago, if you're wanting to be transgender or this or that or whatever, it was considered a mental illness. And now but it's people like you that make this society weak, that keeps going off of this agenda. So he keeps ripping, right, during this press conference.
Yeah.
Pre-fight press conference. Well, whenever they release the press conference, that thing is edited out of the UFC press conference. When in the past, it never has been. You know why? They were fighting in Canada. And the Canada censor police up there, when we talked to our gal with the one podcast that told us about how tough it is up in Canada with censors.
Yeah.
Dude, they pretty much got that. They didn't like him, right? So they didn't like Sean Strickland speaking his mind. The Canadian fans and stuff love Sean Strickland because Sean goes out there and he goes, and I'll tell you what, fans, y'all need to this, and he pretty much is ragging on the prime minister, right? This guy's a piece of crap. You need to stand up for your freedom. I mean, he's giving this, a big Braveheart speech.
Yeah.
And the crowd is loving it because they understand in Canada that they're being oppressed by, leadership, a lot kind of like we are in the U.S., but even worse up there, right?
Oh, yeah. It's very obvious up there.
So check this out. So I'm going somewhere with this. So they fight, and it's a good fight, fair fight. I think Strickland won, but Duplessis ended up winning. Well, during the prelims, and I don't know if during that fight, but during the prelims, instead of the "Let's Go Brandon" chant here in the U.S., the F Joe Biden chant, because they do it everywhere now. They do it at UFCs all the time, right? Mm-hmm. Well, up there during the UFC last night in Canada, it was F Trudeau, F Trudeau. The whole Canadian crowd was pretty much saying F to the prime minister, right? Well, goes to the scorecards. Strickland, everybody had Strickland pretty much up 3-2 to win. Well, somehow it went to the judges, and the champ got upset, and Dricus du Plessis ended up beating him, right? So Dricus won, the white African won, right? Mm-hmm. So post-press conference, and now I'm going to tie all this into us right here, right?
Okay.
Post-press conference, Dana White goes out there, and he's giving his, he goes, hey, man, I think Sean Strickland won, but is what it is. It went to the judges. You never leave it in the judges' hands. Well, while he's talking and stuff, I noticed the sponsor on the back for the UFC. It's like Midtrust Bank or something like that. But the other sponsor is Skilled Trades College.
Oh.
Was in the background. I mean, dude, this was last night. And I was like, it's obvious. Like, dude, Skilled Trades College is the major sponsor for like the biggest venue that's ever, like the biggest sold out venue in Canada.
Wow.
Ever. This UFC event was. And it's Skilled Trade. I go, dude, look at this. This is what I'm talking about.
So is that a Canadian sponsor?
Yes. So I pulled it up. I pulled it up. I was like, so I looked it up and I kind of did a little surfing. Sure enough, you pull it up and it's Skilled Trade College of Canada. And it has 4 different options. Electrician, HVAC, construction, and something else. There were 4 different deals that if you're interested in any one of those skilled trades, you click on it, and it's kind of a quick little questionnaire, and it'll pretty much get you in line with where you want to go. And, dude, I thought, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about, to where instead of, the University of Oklahoma or whatever, you could do that for a sponsor, or Pfizer, for a sponsor. That is awesome seeing a sponsor like that. So there are redeeming qualities, and there's hope for Canada, right? When they have sponsors like that are supporting the trades.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy because you don't see those sponsors here.
No,
you don't see trade school sponsors.
Dude,
that's crazy, man.
Yeah,
on that big of a stage. I mean, I'm sure maybe every now and then
there were only 2 sponsors. So instead of their monster,
that was a 7-8 figure,
huge
9-figure sponsorship.
Instead of the Monster Energy drink that's right there in front of the fighters at post press conference, it said, UFC whatever. It said like mid trust arena or something. Then it said the Skilled Trades College, and it said it all over. Pretty much just only 2 of them. So. In that Midtrust might have just been the venue that they fought at, the Midtrust Arena,
Oh yeah. So I wonder if that Skilled Trades is that a venue sponsor, or I wonder if that was a UFC sponsor. It was probably a UFC sponsor if it was behind him in the press conference.
Oh, I think so. I mean, I don't know the nitty gritty of that,
But dude, that's that's incredible to see, because like, how do you get it out there? Like, and think about how they chose that crowd. I mean, they're probably not sponsoring every event at that arena. They could be, but I bet that was specifically UFC.
Dude, here
there's your blue collar fans right there.
It just popped up. UFC, the world's premier mixed martial arts organization, and Skilled Trades College of Canada, the Canadian leader in training youth and skilled trades, today announced a new marketing partnership that showcases STC, Skilled Trades College, with the UFC live events hosted in Canada, including pay-per-view events and fights.
Yeah. And I think that that's a great way to get the name out there is a UFC event. I mean, something with millions of eyes.
And then think about your demographic with UFC people.
Well, that's what I was just saying a minute ago while you were looking that up. I mean, that's the right crowd to advertise that to.
Yeah. I mean, you want to talk about hardworking, just blue collar, get the shit done type of people? Probably UFC fans.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Dude, that's awesome. I'm actually really happy to hear that. I think that that's neat. That's such a great way to advertise what you have as those events. Like, I look at on a smaller scale. Okay, let's talk about that for a minute. That's a cool idea. I didn't know you were going to bring that up. So, like on a small scale, you see construction companies sponsoring local events all the time. Maybe a deal through a chamber of commerce or, their kid's school, high school football team, stuff like that. They sponsor these things, and their title sponsor, it's, Billy Bob's Construction Company, LLC, or whatever. And they're advertising at these small things. But I think on a local level, dude, you could really target your demographics to the right people and figure out, like, okay, what events and what clubs do I want to sponsor? And if I sponsor these clubs enough and I speak to them and I stay active in them, maybe I will get some employees one day.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're just throwing out a sponsorship just because somebody said, hey, can you sponsor me? We'll put your banner up.
Right.
That's not going to bring you necessarily business or employees, but it is good to do that. Like if you sponsored a rodeo, if you're a construction company and you're a title sponsor for a rodeo, and at the rodeo, they're not just saying, this is sponsored by Billy Bob's Construction Company. Thank you, Billy Bob. But if at the rodeo, they're like, this is sponsored by Billy Bob's Construction Company. They are looking for hands right now, dude, that'd probably get you some people.
So obviously it costs money to go to, let's say, Skilled Trades College, right? I mean, it's a business.
Yeah.
Do you think they offer grants, or you think there are things like the Fannie Mae or whatever the ones are to where you're supported to get loans for a university like University of Oklahoma State or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
You think there's certain loans out there to support the trades?
There are different options. I know that sometimes an employer will send people through a trade school. I know that there are a lot more grants and a lot more opportunities. I think there are more scholarships to it just because enrollment's so low at those right now. Even if that's high for the capacity that they can handle, it's still like overall volume is pretty low. I think that there are a lot of scholarships that can be had. I know people that have gone through some of those, and they do pay for them, or they take out loans. But I know that there are scholarships and grants and companies that are willing to say, I will put you through the school if you work for me for X amount of years. So there's options. And like we had people on with our tech program here. We've had 2 people on from our local technical college, and if you go to that before you're 21, it's free.
Really?
For 2 years. If you go, so you can go in high school and you can do like a joint deal. And I think it's like that. I know it is in Oklahoma. I bet it's like that in a lot more places in the U.S. Obviously, I don't know how other countries do it. I know that Canada's got affordable or free education. I don't know how they do their college there, but I know that it's not what you have to pay here. But anyways, if you're like in high school, for example, you can go and you can do a half day at the technical school and you can do a half day at high school. Well, if you're not 21 yet, you can go and you can say, I want to do this program. Like, let's say you graduate high school. You can say, well, I want to do a 2-year program, and they will put you through that 2-year program. And as long as you're, a resident or whatever, it's free.
That's a good deal, man. And I've kind of going off of that, they've been doing advertisements for basic welding.
Here in town?
Yeah, for the Votech.
Yeah.
And I looked up the pricing. I can't remember what it was, but dude, it's like super reasonable, man. And God, this is just another thing that, when you ask me, Casey, what do you want to do when you grow up? Or, we talked about that. I can do some basic welding. I mean, I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but, I can make a weld, but I'll spend more time with a grinder than I will, making a good weld.
Yeah.
But that'd be something I'd love to do, to go in there and just learn the different types of welding and stuff, with Ian and them. Mm-hmm. And the price for the classes was super reasonable, man.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of good options out there. And I don't think people realize how, like, if you're working a job and you're like, dude, I'm so tired of making $14 an hour in an unskilled position, there's a lot of options out there to go get those skills and at least start working your way up.
And I could be wrong. Ian could clarify it, but just on the welding side of it, it was like a Tuesday and a Thursday night for 2 hours. Something real. It's not like it's a Monday to, where it just consumes your time, and it's almost around your schedule.
It's set up to be for the working person, like, a person with a job, and, maybe they have kids and they have a job, and it's okay. Well, it's affordable. It's good. It's something that you can go and you can get some certs and stuff like that. And hopefully lead to something better than what you're doing and teach you a skill.
Yeah. And if anybody listening out there has ever considered maybe looking somewhere else, maybe look and see if you do have a technical program around you that offers those type of things, and you can do it in your off hours.
Yeah.
Because, let's go back. It could be anything. It could be electrical, HVAC, but let's go back to welding, dude. You talk about people who make some jack is those welders, man.
Yeah. Welding is one of those trades that I feel like, and we've talked a lot about welding lately. It's kind of funny how diverse our listeners are. We got guys that are mechanics that listen. We got guys that are just operators. We got guys that are, hell, we got lawyers, that listen. We've got now a lot of welders that listen, because we've had a couple guys that's what they do as well.
But think about it. I'm going to interrupt you here. I'm sorry on your deal, but the mechanics and the operators, I guarantee you, there's daily almost, they do some type of, they probably have welding rigs on their vehicles to where they do some type of just basic welding while they're turning wrenches and stuff.
Yeah. Well, what I was saying is, like, and I think I talked about it whenever Bob Moffitt was on here too, is welding's one of those deals that you can go and, like, an entry level welder for just like on an assembly line, you're not making a lot. It's pretty low wages manufacturing wise and stuff like that. But man, if you have your own rig and you're helping people weld fence, or you're going out to the oil fields, or you're doing, depending on what you're doing, it's kind of just one of those things. You can make as low as $15 an hour, and you can make as high as
60, 80. Yeah. Easy. Easy.
Yeah.
Then you have your own rig. You get on some of these jobs where not only you buy the hour, but then you pay for the time of your cell phone, your rig, your this, your that. You get per diem. If you're out on the road, that's when that money stacks up big time.
Yeah. Well, you look at a lot of these guys out in like the West Texas oil fields. You see these kids that are, 20 years old, and they got a $90,000 truck, and you pull into the gas station. It's all like these $90,000 trucks and campers and stuff like that. And they've got their welding rigs on their trucks and everything. And that's what they do, man. And they're making a shit pot of money. Now, hopefully they're being smart with their money. A lot of them are not, but hopefully some of them are being smart and using that money wisely and preparing for whenever times get bad.
Yeah, that's what our one son Trevor's doing, dude. He's out on the road. He's the one that we took his truck down to him, down to Big Spring. Mm-hmm. He's on the road, just knocking it down. He's a welder, and I've seen a few checks that he's been bringing home, for just a week's worth of work, and for his age and stuff, dude, with no kids, zero debt, that's some Jack Daddy money right there.
Oh yeah. So, just to kind of get into a little bit of a topic here, I got a question for you. If money was no object, would you quit your job?
Yes.
Okay.
But do you want me to follow up with why?
Sure. What would you do? If money was no object? They say 64% of Americans would quit their job if money were no object. And I bet that number is actually higher if it really
I
came
think
down
it's
to brass
higher.
tacks.
But I would still be contributing to society in some avenue.
What do you think you'd do?
Construction. I still, man, framing houses, framing and even roofing houses. I mean, I know I'm getting up in age, so it's going to be a little tougher on my body. And they said the older you get, you need to be the one that is the supervisor that owns a company and have, hire smart people for you to run this stuff. But there's still something about looking at a blank piece of land and knowing that you can develop that thing from doing the dirt work, the rebar in the ground, the footings, the concrete, and you can do the old rough framing up to the rafters. There's something about physically working with your hands and doing that is what I miss. And plus, it'd be good for me too, just for physical labor in general. Just, I know damn well, the way I look at it is I get paid to work out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be physically not making some money, but I'd be physically, getting shit done.
You would quit the job you have and you would pursue the things that you enjoy more, such as framing and roofing and doing that.
Or like right now, I'm building a dance studio for a person in town. I'm redoing their back deal. It's a finished garage that I'm turning into a dance studio.
Interesting.
And dude, a lot of this stuff is stuff that I know how to do, but it's a different problem solving type of task. So although you know how to do it, there's still different things that you encounter and go through. And that different challenge every day with me is, I love that. Where I'm at, my primary job with the pipeline that pays the bills, I love that. But these are 12-hour shifts, 5, every single day, daylights, nights, weekends, 12 hours on a stretch. That keeps me from doing that type of stuff that I really enjoy doing, the problem solving, working with my hands, that type of stuff.
So you would say if money was no object, you would quit that and you would pursue what you enjoy, is basically what you're saying.
Yeah.
What it comes down to.
Yeah. Are you setting me up here?
No. Well, kind of. I'm not setting you up. I'm just setting the topic up here. It's kind of like also according to, and this is an article on unusualwhales.com. You can Google it if you Google 64% of Americans quit their job. Anyways.
Plus also unusualwhales.com will also let you know what the politicians' trades are doing. Politicians have 45 days to report their trades to the SEC, so you can see what all the movements that Pelosi and her husband are doing.
Yeah,
anyway, keep going.
It's on there. Yes, that's true. Got him. It also says that like millennials and stuff, they have no issue paying $7 for a cup of coffee. Now, I know that how are those two things related? And I believe that, man. I know a lot of people. I think that what's happening in our workforce, this is kind of an interesting little deal, is I talk a lot about how pay is not necessarily the number one factor for people. It's happiness. They want to be happy with what they do. They want to enjoy what they do. We've been a little bit spoiled in our where we live, right? Like most people are not. We're struggling, but most people they have cars, they have power, they have a roof over their head, they have electricity, they've got, food in the fridge, they've got that stuff. I mean, times might be tough. They might have debt. They might have check to check. I mean, I'm not saying people aren't struggling in that aspect, but like, it's not mud huts and dirt floors for most people. Obviously, there's still some of that, but I think that it's just an important thing for employers to think about, or a boss or something like that, especially if you're somebody's direct boss at like a big company, even if you don't own the company. You have a direct effect on that person's happiness. I think that people inherently want to contribute to society. Most people, not all people. There are lazy people out there. There always have been lazy people out there. But I think that it's an interesting fact that like most people say, I hate my job. I hate my boss. Fuck this place. If I won the lottery, I'd be out. But it's only 64%, which means that there is still 36% that are like, I like my job and I like what I do. I don't care if I'm making, $1 million a year and have no debt and I'm growing my company. I'm still going to keep doing what I'm doing. And there are a lot of people that do that. So I think that I think it's just cool and interesting to think about the fact that the workforce is not getting lazier per se. I think that it's just the workforce is starting to care more about themselves versus about your company, a company that they don't own. And so, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm kind of rambling here. What do you think about all that?
For one, whoever did that poll, remember you can have a poll done for anything that you want and get the results that you want. Because one of the polls was saying that Hillary Clinton was whipping, Trump's ass, and we saw what happened with that, right? So who knows, who they polled there.
Okay. Yeah,
okay.
I mean,
No, I had to.
I know.
I had time to think about my answer while you were talking there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For one, let me not hedge my answer, but where I'm employed at with the energy company, I'm happy there, dude. I seriously look forward to going into that. I never dread shit, dude. Because, dude, I have to leave, in 20 minutes, and I don't have my head, dude. I love it. I go in there, and my primary thing is go in there, kick ass, don't fuck up, look out for the shareholders. That way, everybody's happy. That's what I get paid to do, right?
Right.
But to elaborate a little bit more on my answer to where if money wasn't an object, I wouldn't be there. I mean, yeah, granted, I like providing energy, for the world, right? We do need that.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that place is going to be just fine, even without me there. Although I think I'm a very viable asset for the company, right? I think they'd be fine if I stepped away. But this is the truth, man. The ultimate happiness that I've found is when someone is curious and willing to learn, and I have the knowledge because I've been there and done that, and they seriously are listening, and they come up and they want to, hey, man, hey, how did you do? What are you doing, man? Can you show me? The teaching aspect of what I've learned, let's say it is with framing or any other type of thing that I know how to do. When a green person comes up with curiosity, dude, me being able to teach someone and pass on that skill and knowledge that I've learned through mistakes and through other people, this is no joke. That is like the ultimate happiness, man. Because it's like we talked that one day about some people go to college kind of like I did. You go to college because you're supposed to go to college. I'm here because I'm supposed to be here. Or you go to VOTEC or the Technical Institute because you want to learn. Those people are wanting to learn, unless if there was a gun to a kid's head that a dad made him go to the technical college. They're there to learn. And if someone is curiously wanting to learn from me, man, there's nothing that makes me happier than seriously teach. Even when my grandson hits me up, hey, Papa, why is this, or why is the sky blue? Or, well, it's because of nitrogen in the air and a little bit of argon gas, and you got this and that, you got so many oxygen molecules, but so the sun rays bounce off and it creates a blue, you know what I mean? That type of stuff like that, that is the most satisfying thing for me.
I see that. Yeah. You want, and I think that's satisfying for the person under you too, as long as you're not like micromanaging them or too much. But I mean, if you're just genuinely showing them they're genuinely curious and they want to learn, I think that builds loyalty, first of all, with the person underneath you. And that gets to the point where, hey, they won the lottery and you've taken good care of them. Like, they're not just going to high and dry you.
Well, think about, that gives you a sense of purpose, right? Because, dude, I'm valued, man. People really do care. They're looking up to me. And just like when Bob was on here, Bob said, and I think even Ian said, we go back to our welders because that's recency bias. You know what that is?
Oh, yeah.
That recently happened.
It's the most recently happened.
Yeah, it's the hottest thing on our mind right now. But they said there's nothing more satisfying than the guys that they train or gals that they helped get their welding education. Then they hit them up 2 years, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, and come and say, hey, Bob, hey, Ian, thanks for teaching me, man. My family's doing great. We've got kids. My wife, we're married. We got a great house. I just want to let you know I appreciate you during your time teaching us how to do that.
Yeah.
That's ultimate satisfaction.
No, that is awesome, man. I mean, pouring into somebody like that is so satisfying. It's like recently I've been more amped up and stoked to go to the gym at 5 a.m. than I've been in years. I mean, I've been going and it's fun, and I'm fortunate every day to get to go and do that, because for a couple of years I couldn't do that because of injuries. And so now I'm like really thankful for it. But lately my little brother's been going with me, and that's something he hadn't been wanting to do. Well, now he's like, he shows up, he gets there at 5:15. This is before he goes a full day at high school, plus all his extracurriculars and stuff. And he shows up, he doesn't complain, and he just does the workouts. And like, he's not a tough as nails, iron and grit. Like, he's a band nerd, to put it that way. He's soft, he's sensitive, but he's showing up and he's like, man, let's do this. I want to get better. I want you to teach me how this goes. And it's a whole new world for him. And he's picking up on it. And it encourages me every single day to show up and be able to pour into him in that way. Just like if somebody asks me about road paving, or like whenever somebody hits us up about like, hey man, how do we gain, train, and retain employees in our company? Dude, you'll see my face light up like, yeah, let's go. Let's talk workforce development, man. Like, that gives you that purpose, and it makes you go. There's a lot of people that, let's just take an electrician, for example. An electrician shows up to work every single day and he does his job. He gets to a point where he goes, man, I'm not doing anything with my life. I'm a dumbass. I'm useless. Maybe he has a boss that makes him feel like that. But man, let's say you get a good apprentice under you that you can empower and you can engage in, and you can teach them how to work just right. And they get excited and they're like, man, this is cool. I like this. And show me more. You're going to be sitting there talking to him, and you're going to realize, man, I'm a pretty smart dude. I kind of know what's going on here. And I'm glad that I get to pass this on to somebody else who's excited to learn it.
Yeah.
And it breaks up the mundane some.
Plus, it sharpens your skills too. If you have been there for years and you haven't, I need that every now and then to let you know about the pipeline movement process and what we do out there and stuff. Because if I don't talk about it and all I do is do it, then I'm not helping get the cobwebs out. And audibly articulating what's going on in my head.
Yeah.
Right. You can have it all up here, but if you don't try to spit it out your tongue, it might be a garbled jargon. Garbled jargon. That's what I meant to say.
Well, and how often do you sit there and you say, hey, man, this is how you're supposed to do it? And then you sit there and you're doing it, and they go, hey, you said you're supposed to do it this way. And you're what, I can do it this way, But then you realize, damn, dude, I'm cutting corners and he's calling me on my shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and where I'm at, man, luckily, we have a bunch of fail safes in place, interlock systems and stuff that protect equipment and pipelines and pumps and all that stuff from bad things happening. But you really have to follow the procedures to the T, because it's one of them 1%ers. If you go off, not bad things can happen, but it won't be pretty.
Yeah.
Them phone calls, them piss tests. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. No, dude, it's just cool to be able to get somebody under your wing like that. And I think that back to my original question of like 64% of Americans would quit their job if money was no object. I guess my question would be to those 64% of people too, is what does make you happy? I mean, like if you're living in a corporate rat race and you say, man, if I could come across all the money in the world, I wouldn't show up to this hellhole job again. What is there that you could do that can make you do that? I mean, have you considered a career change? And I'm not just talking to blue collar people like, hey, maybe you work on an assembly line and you're sick of that. I'm talking about like, maybe you're a big shot banker and you just hate the culture of banks. You hate what's going on. You hate coming in every single day. You hate your dick ass freaking boss. You show up and you're just like, dude, I do so much for this fucking place, and they don't give a shit about me. If I left tomorrow, they wouldn't even care. That just grinds you, even though you do so much. But if you won the lottery, you'd be like, I'm out of here. But you can only, sit on the beach and drink Coronas for so long. I mean, everybody needs a sense of purpose in their life. So it's like, where would you go? What would that sense of purpose be? And have you considered trying something, working with your hands to make you love it? And have you tried to maybe work for a cool boss, in a blue collar industry? I've had some cool bosses in the construction industry, and as long as you're willing to learn, they're willing to pour into you. Right. So it's, I don't know, something to consider, maybe trying some new experiences, maybe do what we're talking about, maybe take a night class and see if you like something.
So my question to you is, if money was no object, would you and Victoria quit your jobs? Okay. What would you do?
I've been doing the Dirty and Driven project full time, man.
There you go. There you go.
That's what I mean. This is what I love to do, man. I mean, I love.
So would it be money, no object, just for you, or the whole world in general?
Just for you. I mean,
Okay.
if everybody won the lottery right now, if everybody came across millions of dollars all of a sudden, and everybody quit their jobs, we'd all be fucked. You know, it wouldn't matter how much money you have.
Money wouldn't have value.
It's like, man, I had a friend that I used to play football with, and he had a shirt on. He was Native American. It was his tribe. It said something along the lines, and I think it was a quote by like Sequoia or somebody like that.
Standing Bear.
I think it was Sequoia. It was like, it was basically like, when you pollute all the water, when you cut down all the trees, when you destroy all the ground around you, you'll find out you can't eat money or something like that. And I know that I didn't get that word for word, but it makes you think, like, I mean, if everybody got money all at once and we all quit our jobs, this world would come to a standstill. That money would be absolutely worthless. It would mean nothing because there's nobody to provide you the products and services we need to use that money. So you can call a guy up and be like, hey man.
Well, money would take different forms. Money would be food or pelts or something, warming things to warm.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Going back to like square one.
But
like,
that's what I'm saying. If you remove money totally from it, if money's not an object, then I mean you're still going to have needs, and you're going to have something that I need, and I'm going to have something of value that I hopefully trade with you. And
well, if everybody got millions of dollars right now, if we all got a direct deposit in our bank account right now of $10 million, hell, probably even just $100,000. I bet that there's a lot of people that would quit their job if they got $100,000. It would. I don't think that 100,000 would crash the economy. So let's just say we all got a couple $1 million in our bank account right now. The government just said, boom, everybody in America is getting a couple $1 million. It would be the same as if they came in and they took everybody's money out of their accounts. And so, I mean, everybody can't quit their job, obviously. You got to have these jobs to make the world run, unless we went back to a totally primal species, or, the pre what the earth is now species. It'd be just a different deal, hunter-gatherer type stuff. But
did you know we've given over $100 billion to Ukraine, and Trump only needed $6 or $8 billion to finish the wall?
You're just sneaking them in today, aren't you?
It's time to bring it back, man. We've got a 2024 election season coming up, and there's going to be two things that's going to happen. Either another scamdemic that's going to go on, or there's going to be a major war that we get into to where they won't have any elections. So it's one or the other.
Por qué no los dos?
See?
That's funny, man. Well, I guess we're getting pretty close to wrapping up, aren't we?
Let's do it.
So you can go to work.
Let's do it.
Like a working man, because you didn't win the lottery, so you're still going to work.
Nah, it's all, man, like I said, I enjoy my life, man. Yeah, granted, if and we spoke about the other day, if things open up or whatever, I might pursue something else. Am I doing what I wanted to grow up to do? I never had that vision.
Yeah,
but I've got, like I said, I've gotten to this situation. I seem to be doing fine. Have a great friend. Have a great podcast. But if something, hit the money. If I go out to the casino across the bridge and hit for a $15,000 jackpot, who knows? I might just roll up. That might be it. That might be all it takes.
I got a $15,000 jackpot and $45,000 in credit card debt.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, well, man, this has been a fun time. I always enjoy our little ramblings. So
I think it's a good one, man. Oh, there's your alarm of I got to get the hell out of here. Hold on.
Hold it right up to that mic.
Yeah.
I don't know if that picked up or not. Guys, thanks for listening today. I know it was a little different than usual, but
I thought it was good, man.
Yeah.
We're on fire.
Yeah, we're having fun. We're having fun. That's what matters, right?
That's right.
So
doesn't matter if you win or lose.
Exactly. We're having fun. So guys, as always, be sure to check us out on YouTube. If you want to watch these on video, DM us the word, email us the word sticker. If you want a free sticker mailed anywhere to you in the world. If you haven't watched the Certified Wrench podcast, Colton McCormick, Yeah.
Check that thing out.
Check it out. If you do ask for a sticker, have the decency to leave a 5-star review first. I think most people that do that do, but if you ask for a sticker, at least give me that salt. I mean, I'm spending time and money packing a sticker, writing you a letter, sending it to you. A couple bucks, envelope, stamps just went up today. So have the decency to at least leave us a 5-star review on your favorite streaming platform, preferably Apple Podcast or Spotify, because that's how we grow our show. And thank you to everybody who shares our show in your Instagram stories. It really means the world to us, especially some of y'all that do it every episode, some of y'all that do it most episodes. We really appreciate that. It really does help the show grow, and we've been growing a lot lately. And we're just going to keep bringing out a good podcast for y'all. Just keeping it fun. We got some awesome stuff on the way.
Yeah, we're going to break the stigma. We're going to show that we can be both showers and growers.
Yes. We are not growers or showers. We are showers and growers.
Yes, we're both. We're the anomaly.
Yes, we grow and show on this show.
We show and grow
on this show.
No, it's saying show twice. That's like rhyming twice during a song. You don't say the same word to rhyme twice.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Got him.
All right, guys. I know it's been cold lately, at least in our region, most regions. But don't forget to challenge yourself every single day. The only way that you're ever going to get better in this world and tougher is by challenging yourself every single day. So do something that challenges you. Do something hard.
By God.
By God.